Hello everyone, it's another episode of the Loser Support Group. Thanks for joining me. I just kind of wanted to share where I'm at right now. And it's a weird time, man. There's so many more feelings that I'm juggling that I didn't know that I would be juggling when it comes to trying to be a successful person. And I kind of thought once the opportunity got here for me, once the thing I was meant to be doing arrived, that then it would be smooth sailing and I would just feel great about everything all the time. And I knew that things were happening and everything's great. And that's not at all how things work. I found myself in a lot of anxiety. I'm really struggling to keep my nervous system under, balanced. I'm trying to juggle all these new ways of being, but I'm still in sort of a middle area of things have not started really panning out. I'm this business still needs to get off the ground. There's still so many things that have to happen before we start doing it. And I just sort of have to trust that all the energy that I'm putting into it is gonna pay off. And I think it will. But there's a big part of me that's really scared that what if I can't do it? What if I mess it up? What if I've made a huge mistake again? I've got all this evidence to suggest that a lot of things I've chosen to do in the past didn't work out the way that I wanted them to. But I'm also recognizing that has everything to do with where I was at that moment, at that point. And so there are these insecurities that are being brought up so that I can alchemize them, so that I can, transform them into something that doesn't make me wake up with anxiety every morning, And I think I put so much pressure on myself to get things right and to not make mistakes and to not do things that will inconvenience other people. And that's silly. I need to be more confident about what I know to be the next step and what I know I need to be doing. And even if that next step is I need to take 3 days to cater to my needs, to my nervous system, because when I'm not balanced, I can't make as good of choices as when I am balanced in my nervous system. So that's sort of where I'm at right now, is trying to find that balance of knowing that there are things that I'm scared to do and that I gotta just do them. And it's not even the individual things. I think the thing that is blocking me up is that I can really sense that this is a new thing, that this is going to shift me into a new place. And right now I'm still in the old place in a lot of ways, and I'm trying to establish these new things while also sitting in the old place and trying to balance who I am now with who I used to be in this place, and how to bravely step into the future in a way that I feel like I'm, not making a huge life mistake or something. I don't know. It's so overwhelming in a lot of ways. And, everybody told me, well, people who run businesses, they have problems too. And I'm like, well, yeah, duh, and it's just a whole different way of navigating that I'm not used to doing. And I'm just trying to trust the process, trying to trust that, like, whatever comes up, whatever emotions come up, I'm using my tools to try and sit with it instead of trying to immediately, like, well, what's wrong? What can I fix? And, like, from a place of urgency, try and fix things. And there's so many unknowns, and there's like all these questions of like, well, where am I going to set this up? Where am I going to be? Like, where am I going to finalize? Or maybe not finalize, but where am I going to start this? And that feels super unclear to me. There's like not clarity about, what was that? A weird little fuzz. Did you guys see that? I don't know what it was. Maybe it was just a shadow. That's weird. Oh, that was a bird flying by. Probably saw that. So I'm working on getting my space the way that I need it to be. I'm back in the bower, back in the womb, the nest, the stick structure. This is like a potent place that I made. It's sort of like a teepee shape kind of thing, but it's just sticks. It's not a genuine teepee, obviously. But it's a place that I made that I've had a lot of spiritual experiences in. I've had a lot of visions in this place, and I let it sort of get a little bit dilapidated. I wasn't using it, and so like over the last like week or so, I had to rearrange the sticks. I had to sort of add some supports because it was starting to sort of sag. It's been up for a couple years now, but it was getting a little saggy, so I added my sticks and I supported it a little more, so now it's not so saggy. There's room inside again. And I did some smoke clearing for myself and for inside this place, and so I'm gonna make a concerted effort, even though it's winter time and it gets cold and sometimes it feels inconvenient to go outside. I need to be outside. I need to be in my natural places in the garden, because that's where I get my best ideas. That's where I get the clarity. And so I've been like, oh, there goes the dog. Is that confirmation? We'll call that confirmation. Thanks, Scoop, for the confirmation. So yeah, and I don't know if y'all agree with this, but it's like I've been getting the Wheel of Fortune all year. All year I've been getting the Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot, when that comes up, it's basically the things are a turnin'. We are experiencing a shift, and we're gonna have this shift happen to us, whether we're like kicking and screaming and being dragged by the wheel in the dirt, or we can like hop on the chariot and like have a nice ride into the future. And I'm doing my best to hop on the chariot, but sometimes I feel like I'm like grabbing onto that wheel and I'm like, what are we doing? And so it's been, it's kind of a fun adventure, I guess, if you think of it that way. I mean, not I guess. It is a fun adventure. Like, I have this like adventure about to begin, and it's already begun. Like, I've already had such an adventure I had no idea that my life was going to change to the extent that it did. I didn't know I was going to end 2025 with a trip to Japan that was so beautiful and so amazing, and like I'm getting a little verklempt about it right now. Like, wow, it was like international travel. That's what I've wanted to do my whole life, is go places, and I haven't been able to do it. Wow, I am getting emo. Wow, what? I didn't know I was gonna get emo about that. But that was like a dream come true, and it's almost like I'm afraid that that's all I get, that like the rest of this is too good to be true because of what I've experienced in my life, and because good things have in the past always been punished. There's always been something that comes along behind the good thing that makes it so that it's like I was punished for having a good thing. And I know that's a perspective, but I was also in a relationship where when I was happy, I would legitimately get punished. And so like, it's based off of, an actual experience, like actual experiences that I've had throughout my life, where there, the other shoe was always going to drop. Like, oh, well, we're having a good thing, but like, well, just wait, because that can't last. And so I'm like, on some level, bracing for like, this can't possibly be real. Like, there can't possibly be a beautiful end to this for me. Like, this guy, like, but everything is pointing to a reality where I do get to have good things. And I already am receiving such good things, and it's still like, financially it's a bit of a struggle because, I'm not bringing in any money yet with this business. So I'll put my Venmos down in the links if you feel compelled. If the Lord is calling you to send me $20, I would not say no. If my insight has reached you in some way, just saying. My insights. If my I don't want to say bitching. I haven't really been bitching this time, but some of the losers support group videos, you could definitely say I've been bitching. Anyway, I hope that wasn't tacky. Maybe it was a little tacky. You know what? I'm a little tacky. Sometimes the lady's tacky. What can you do? Yeah, so it's like we're in the tunnel. We're in the tunnel and we can see the light over there, but we're like, is it really the light, or is it like another torch on the side of the wall that's like, all right, well, thanks for the light, but like, when are we getting out of this fucking tunnel? This tunnel is a drag. I'm tired of the tunnel. Like, I want to be out in the light. I want to feel like safe with my money situation. Like, I want to feel like that's not so high on my list of things to consider. I want to stop thinking about money so much. I hate it. But when you are living at this level, like, you kind of have to, like, you have to think about money. You can't just like, like, make it rain all day, because then you're like, well, how am I going to pay for food? Like, oh shit, I forgot about that bill. Like, it's like, you want to have trust in the future. You want to be living the way that you want to live. You want to embody that before it comes in. But the reality is too that, like, well, you can't go too hard. Like, you got to be a little bit reasonable. And so you do have to think about it. You have to think about it, and it makes it really hard to like strategize, because that's such a focus. And if that has to be a focus, it really is hard to be creative. It's hard to do your best work. But I'm doing my best to like sort of navigate those weird feelings and the weirdness around that, and like receive what I need and be confident in being a receptive person, healing my feminine side, as they say. So yeah, I don't know if you're feeling like things are definitely going somewhere, but you're a little like scared of like, am I going to be able to live up to that when we get there? Probably yes. Probably we're going to do great. I bet that all the stories that we tell ourselves about, like, oh my God, like, what if we screw this up? Like, what if this happens? What if that happens? If you've done as much work as I have done over the last 5 years to try and like get your mental health and your spiritual health to a good place where you're honoring yourself and you're listening to yourself inside, if you've gotten to that place, then chances are, even if you fuck up here and there, even if, every once in a while you like get sucked into despair, oh, there goes the dog again. Even if you get sucked down into despair, which happens to me like, I don't know, periodically. Because I'm really scared, okay? I'm really scared. I'm really scared because I can feel that this is huge. I can feel that, like, this shift that we're making is huge. And so, like, it's okay to be scared. It's okay to be scared. I'm scared. And we just gotta, like, do it anyway. We just have to do, and sometimes the doing it is doing nothing. Sometimes that's the scariest thing to do, is nothing. If you're sitting there and you're like, oh my God, I have all this anxiety, I need to do this, I need to do that, I have to fix all these problems, I have to make sure everything's coming together. That ain't the vibe, bro. That ain't the vibe. You want to chill. You want to take time, even if it takes 3 days. I mean, hopefully you have that. Not everybody has that privilege. That is a privilege. I will acknowledge that. But it's going to be scary because it's big and new. Yeah, listen to them. Listen to those boys. They're scary. Aren't they? Terrifying. One of them's in a sweater. They're... Thanks a lot, dogs. But what I'm saying is, like, I'm having to accept that, like, if you're a warrior going into battle, and I'm not saying we're going to war, like, that's not, like, the next chapter is full of joy and ease in a way that we've not experienced before. But sort of in a metaphorical way, if you know you have to go into battle, you know, you're some kind of warrior and you've been trained but you've never gone to battle before. That's got to be seriously scary. But you have to do it anyway. Like, you have to do it. That's what's happening. Like, you are being taken on your chariot to lead this army into your destiny. And it's okay to be scared about that. It's okay to have anxiety about that. It doesn't mean that anything is wrong. It doesn't mean that you're on the wrong track. You don't have to make a story up about the fear. It doesn't mean anything about your ability to do the thing. It just means that your body is like, this is new and different, and we're not sure what to do about it. Like, we're not so sure it's gonna work out. We're not so sure that it's gonna be beautiful and magical the way that we hope, because we don't have a lot of evidence to support that yet, maybe. But we do have evidence to show that we're different, and that we are navigating things in a totally different way, and that we're listening to ourselves. And that's the number one most important thing, is, can you listen to yourself, and can you hear when you're being asked to act, or when your body knows it's time to act, or when your body knows it's time to rest. And it takes time to figure that out. And also, like, some scary things, you just have to do them before you feel comfortable doing them. And I think that's where I'm at, and maybe that's where you're at. And yeah, so that's all I wanted to share, is just sort of a little update. Yeah, thanks for joining me in the bower, in the stick structure of magic and wonder. And I'll see you next time. Bye.